So, I guess we'll see if 5 months of Zoom calls for work make me less awkward in front of the camera. Probably not. Hello, and welcome to my channel. That's the first time I've said it, and hopefully not the last. We'll see how this goes. But as you can tell by the title of this video, I am a Booktube newbie, and doing the Booktube Newbie Tag felt like a rite of passage, so I figured I'd give it a whirl. So we will start with question number 1. Why did you start this channel? For me, starting a Booktube channel was a way of being part of a community and a larger conversation. And I want to share my thoughts and opinions and have people talk to me about it and share their thoughts and opinions with me too. So that sense of community, I think, is really important. But also, what I wanted to do was have a channel where I highlighted or where I showcased female voices. That was a big part of it when I started thinking about this some months ago. So female authors, female characters, female issues. That was really important to me, but also now, as Black Lives Matter and discussions about diversity and systemic racism and all of the wonderful conversations that have sprung up from everything that has happened in the last few months, I also wanted a place where I could be held accountable for my own reading habits. One of the things that I did during all of this was really acknowledge the fact that for all the reading I do, my bookshelves are very white. My books have largely been written by white authors, and about white experiences, or if they are about the experiences of Black people or people of color, they have oftentimes been written through the white lens. And so I wanted a place where I could be held accountable to and really begin to explore these other voices and other experiences. So for me, that's what this channel is about. I'm sure I'll read books. I know I'll read books by men, and I know I'll read books by white people, but I want, for me, really elevating the voices of women, elevating the voices of Black authors and authors of color, and authors of different sexualities and characters with different sexualities, and just everything that diversity encapsulates. I want this to be a place where I can explore that too. So that is a very long answer and kind of soapboxy, so I apologize, but those were the things that came to mind. So what are some fun and unique things you can bring to YouTube? I think hopefully my personality, but also, in addition to being bookish and loving books, I am a big history nerd, and so you're probably going to hear a lot about history on here too. You'll probably hear me mention movies from the 30s, 40s, 50s, up to present day. So while, yes, this is a booktube channel, I'll hopefully be bringing in aspects of other things that I really enjoy and that I feel are enriching in a way. So I think those are things that I can bring to YouTube in addition to, as I just spoke about, really highlighting female voices, highlighting more diverse voices and experiences here on this channel. Question 3. What are you most excited about for this channel? The community, being able to interact with you guys and hopefully you wanting to interact with me, being a more active member of this booktube community, because I really think that it will be fulfilling in that way. But for me, it's also a creative outlet. I think in the midst of all that is happening right now, all this craziness with the pandemic, with the election in the United States, with this amazing and this just incredible movement for human rights with Black Lives Matter, there's a lot going on. There's just a lot to digest, and I think having a place where I can focus some of my creative energy will be really good for me, and will make a lot of this a little bit more bearable, especially when it comes to being stuck at home, 5 months and counting. So yeah, I think that answers that. Question 4. Why do you love reading? It's an escape, obviously. I think for most people, being able to spend an hour or two a day not in your own world but in someone else's is really enjoyable a lot of the time. It's cathartic at times. I become so invested in the characters' lives and what's going on, and that's fun for me. I really enjoy that. But also books as educational tools, and I'm not just talking nonfiction. For me, reading novels and short stories too, you can learn a lot. You can learn empathy and learn about the experiences of other people, which is why I think diversifying my own bookshelf is really important. But since I read a lot of historical fiction, I often learn about historical events that I might not have known about. So if I didn't know about a person or an event, you can bet your bottom dollar that I am Googling that person, that event, and reading a slew of articles. So for me, it's an educational thing too, and I think I enjoy the stillness of reading. I feel like we spend so much time in front of screens, whether it's for work, Netflix, our phones, social media, that it's kind of nice to unplug and feel like that stillness, especially now, is so therapeutic. Me, during this pandemic, making the time every morning to at least read for an hour has had such an impact on my own mental health and happiness. Question 5. What book or series got you into reading? I'm not sure, but the series that comes to mind is, I believe it's called The Royal Diaries. I remember reading one about Princess Keulani. I feel like I'm not getting that name right or pronouncing it correctly, but it was about the last princess of Hawaii. And I remember reading other ones. I remember reading one on Eleanor of Aquitaine and of one of Mary Queen of Scots. It is a series of novels written in the form of diaries of these royal princesses, of these royal girls during their adolescence. So I I definitely didn't complete the entire series. I don't know how many of them there are, but I feel like those were the first books that I like sought out. Does anyone else remember that series? What questions would you ask your favorite booktubers? The first one, can we be friends? Like, I feel like I'm already friends with them because of their videos, but to actually be friends with them on a real personal level would be so cool. But I think too, I would love to know how you stay motivated, especially at the beginning when you're an unknown. Like, how did you get through those weeks, those months, those years potentially when you weren't a book influencer, although I hate that term, but how did you deal with that? And also, how do you stay inspired? How do you continue to put videos out with interesting content that people really want to see week after week after week? So I think those are my top 3 questions. Question 7. What challenges do you think starting a booktube channel would be the hardest to overcome? I feel like part of it is the consistency, so making sure that I'm putting out videos weekly. My plan is to do them every Thursday, but being able to do that so that there's content for people to watch, so that's part of it. And then I think too, part of it is coping with negativity, negative comments in particular. Like, how do you deal with the thumbs down on a video you worked really hard on? I guess that's my main one, is being able to accept that not everyone is going to enjoy my videos or my personality, and not taking it personally, because there are going to be amazing people out there who want to watch my videos and who enjoy it and want to talk to me and hopefully hear my babbling. So we're gonna move on to the next question. When did you start reading? I don't know the exact age. I know I was young, but I can remember the book. It was Dr. Seuss, The Foot Book, and I can remember sitting in our kitchen on this wooden stool and reading Left Foot, Right Foot, Big Foot, Small Foot, and just being so freaking excited that I had done that on my own. But I can picture the day. It was evening. So it left a big impression on me. So, where do you read? So, before the pandemic, before lockdown and quarantine, all of that, I did most of my reading on the train on the way to work, which is how I've had some embarrassing, ugly sobbing episodes on the train, because I was not prepared for that ending. You know the one I'm talking about in Me Before You, and in Outlander, and in, Still Alice. That was another one. Ugly sobbed on the train with that one too. But I'm currently not taking the train to work. I've been working from home for months, which I'm fortunate enough to be in the position to do. But instead, most of my reading now is done in bed. Usually when I wake up super early, usually around 5:30, and so I'll read for the first hour to 2 hours of my day. So those are my those are my reading spots. And then the last question of the Booktube Newbie Tag is, what kind of books do you like to read? So the first genre, my main squeeze is historical fiction. I studied both English and history while at college, university, and to me, historical fiction was the best of those both worlds. The best of both worlds. Cannot talk anymore. So that's one. I read a lot of classic literature, but I also enjoy reading what I guess would be coined the new classics. So those books that have been written they've probably written in the 20th century, from the 20s through to maybe the late 50s, early 60s. Then lastly, I really enjoy reading plays. And I do love Shakespeare, but I'm not just talking Shakespeare. I love Tennessee Williams, Arthur Miller, Ibsen. I'm blanking right now. Eugene O'Neill. I enjoy watching plays. I enjoy reading plays. They're two very different experiences, but I'm planning to talk about them. And on that note, I have wrapped up the 10 questions of the Booktube Newbie Tag. But I would love for you to subscribe, and I would love to hear from you, and I will see you all, hopefully, when I upload my next video next week, Thursday. Thanks everyone for watching, and take care. Bye.